So, does that make this the best Tarantino movie of all time?
Welcome to another episode of Neon Radio. I'm Reece.
And I am Dan.
And this week we're reviewing Pulp Fiction. The lives of two mob hitmen, a boxer, a gangster and his wife, and a pair of diner bandits intertwine in four tales of violence and redemption. The second in the Quentin Tarantino filmography.
Correct. Very correct. Now, what is your analysis of the layout of this film?
Yes, it is an anthology in all... looking at the layout, it is an anthology. But it's also kind of similar to a Nolan thing with Memento. It doesn't go backwards, but it has moments where it goes intertwines here and there.
Yep.
And I like that. But it is an anthology. It is 3 or 4 separate stories occurring at different times or the same times, depending on where they placed it in the edit.
Correct.
And I kind of think it may be the greatest anthology film of all time. I can't think of any other movie that has several stories placed together that's as good as this. But yeah, I do think that it is a choice that would then change the foundation of how filmmaking was made for a long time.
Yep.
Especially with the bigger pieces. And people like, Clerks guy, like Kevin Smith and Linklater and all those guys.
My issue...
Yes.
It's only the one issue that I have with this movie.
Yes.
Is the bloat.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, this movie's 2 hours and 20 or 30 minutes long.
It's long.
It's a long movie. And I think we could have had a little less...
Bruce Willis.
Yeah. And that's... Yeah, I mean, looking at the whole thing as a whole, we could have cut stuff like the cab scene. We could have cut half of Fabiana's, his girlfriend's part of it.
You didn't like her, did you?
It's not even that. It's just that it was not really necessary. There's literally a scene there where he's in the shower. Spoilers. He's in the shower. He gets out. He sleeps, and that's the scene. I mean, we didn't really need that.
Yeah,
that wasn't necessary. He could have gone back. The whole watch thing could have occurred, and then he could have gone out.
Just real quickly on the watch scene. Yeah. When I first watched this is a long time ago.
Yes. This is the Christopher Walken watch scene.
This Christopher Walken scene, I thought he was a god. But after watching it again recently, I was like, it's not as good as it used to be. It's still good, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I think it's lost its golden touch.
Yeah.
Because we'll get into something very soon after that.
Yes. Well, I think a lot of the reason why Bruce Willis was even in this film was supposedly without him they wouldn't have had the budget.
Yeah.
So the movie was $8 million, I think. $5 million went towards the actors, and $3 million was for the actual production, which is a super small budget.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Even at the time it was made, that was really small.
Yeah, but it's quite substantially bigger than Reservoir Dogs.
Correct, yeah. I think Reservoir Dogs was only 3 or 4 million all up, or something super small as well. But they also shot that only in one location, when this was heaps of locations. Yeah. And without Bruce Willis, they wouldn't have had that. So I understand having him on. They might have even had a contract that he had to be on screen for a certain amount of time.
Was it 18 minutes or something like that?
Something like that. 18 days, is how long he shot for, which is pretty short.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
But then again, that's maybe half the movie shoot time.
Yeah.
Either way, it's really one of those things where Bruce Willis was needed for the role. But, look, when you look at cast, who's the best in this whole thing?
Samuel L. Jackson.
Oh my God.
He just stands out, man. That whole Ezekiel passage is just so damn smart.
It's so good.
And so tense with the whole,
the rubber band.
Rubber band theory, yeah. Where it's,
the stretching of tension and then bang, snapping.
It's just so good. Imagine a guy coming to collect, trying to do his job. Yeah. And he comes up to you and you're a little teen drinking a Coke and eating
having
a burger. And he's asking for a chip and stuff. I was like, what the hell's going on here?
It's very intimidating.
Yeah.
And he does such a good job in it. And his character's redemption arc in all of how it's played out is so intelligent. And he's so captures you on the screen.
He owns it, man.
He owns that character, especially in the final scene of the film.
Yeah.
Where it's just... He just takes control of the whole scene. Like the whole thing.
It's incredible. It's incredible.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
It's probably one of my favourite arcs in his filmography.
It makes the movie... it really does heighten the film. Yeah.
So, does that make this the best Tarantino movie of all time?
Critically and audience-wise, yes, it does. They do find it that it's the best film. It's number 8 on IMDb's top 100 or 200 or something. It's a 97% on Rotten Tomatoes, even through critics as well. But for us,
I don't know. It's I think Reservoir Dogs is better just by an edge.
I can see that.
And if you listen to our podcast, you'll know why, because I go pretty far into it.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, it's a fantastic movie, and like we said before, pretty much all of his movies are great.
Yeah, they don't drop below a 7. I don't think you'll see anything on Tarantino's list drop below a 7 in our reviews.
It's just, I think it's just that middle part with the Bruce Willis bit. I think they can cut that off. It can pretty much cut the entire character. But now that we know that he was a big part of this film, did they rewrite some scenes? That's what I'd like to know.
Yeah, I would question something like that as well. There's just it feels like some things are ham-fisted.
Yeah.
But it's even the things that are ham-fisted are enjoyable. Yeah. That's the crazy thing.
It's still good.
And one thing I want to say that's awesome about these movies that we haven't touched upon is that they're all kind of set in this weird divulging universe.
Yeah, that's true.
For example, Pulp Fiction is like the real world. And then there's like movies like Inglourious Bastards that happened in the real world, but they have movies about it in
like Kill
Once
Bill.
Upon a Time. Yeah, Kill Bill's a movie in that world.
Yeah.
What's it called? Dusk Till Dawn is a movie in that world.
Yep. And there's all like connections in between. Yeah, in the script I'm sure
we get the character Zed in this.
Yeah.
And he's also depicted in Kill Bill.
Yeah, that's true.
And
they talk about a Japanese samurai warrior.
Yeah.
Which I'm thinking is
Orenishi.
in Kill Bill. So
yeah. So I mean, there's a whole bunch of like interconnections that are really interesting. I do even like the fact that in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Leonardo DiCaprio's character plays the Nazi killer, like with the flamethrower, in a movie. But that's their history. Yeah. That's their timeline.
Yeah, it's really good. It's
super intelligent.
Yeah, I'll say it again. He's like a genius when it comes to this stuff.
Auteur, a true auteur for cinema.
And you can see he's like Pulp Fiction compared to Reservoir. You can see the bigger budget. You can see the cast. You can see him coming on his own,
fine tuning.
Yeah, and you can just see it growing. But I still like Reservoir Dogs because it has that blood, sweat, and tears in it.
It's a what's it called in a bottle, like an explosion in a bottle or something like that. I don't know the term.
It's like the start of the Big Bang. That's to me, it's
the
unique.
First moment, and it comes out so strong.
It's awesome.
Yeah. So, final thoughts on this. I think that Pulp Fiction is a fantastic movie. It is a classic. I can see why it's so renowned.
Yeah.
It really is something that would push even things like remakes in the future to the front line.
I hope not.
It did already. Yeah. It's done its part.
Yeah.
But he didn't do that. It was an accident, But I can see that he got better as time went. I think you'll see me peak my Tarantino love at maybe Kill Bill and Inglourious Bastards. I can gauge myself there.
That's still a big gap in between.
Yeah, but not really. He kind of was always pretty consistent with his gaps. About 4 to 5 years is kind of his gap. But I can see that that's where I'll peak on Tarantino's scale. And this movie here is well up there as well. I'm going to give this an 8.5.
Yeah, it's a pretty good score.
Yeah,
I'm giving this one a 7.5. And I changed my score on Reservoir Dogs to 8.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. I still have that love for the first.
You backtracked. Oh my God. That's an old segment.
Yeah, I did.
Backtrack. What did you think now this week? It's higher. It's a higher score. I liked it more. thought about it.
Just to summarize this, though, I think what made this movie is you got your beginning and ending, how they just fell into place so good, and you got your whole arc with Samuel L. Jackson. He's an awesome actor. He had an awesome script, and I think he's the key part of this film. Yeah,
he's got some banger lines in this movie. And also, shout out to Harvey Keitel. He ripped in this as well.
Yeah, didn't go. He's got to get a mention in that as well.
Yeah, he was really good.
With his fast Acura NSX. Yeah.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and check out the Neon Radio podcast for more spoil-filled, in-depth reviews.
And check us out on Neon Radio Reviews on Facebook and Instagram to see what we're up to next.
Thanks for watching this week. And Dan, can you take us out?
This is The Big Kahuna.